Hello, welcome to Lesson 13, made by the American Institute of Techniques and Management. And in this lesson we'll be talking mostly about printing, but before we begin talking about printing, I want to talk a bit about a few points I promised to cover in this lesson in the previous ones. Basically the searching part and in the Home tab. And to do that, first off, let's go back to the previous lesson, because in here we won't be actually doing any editing. Here we will be just working on the data we have right now. So this is our previous lesson. In here we will be going to the editing part. So first off, let's go over some the basis. So you have the Find and Select button over here, and this is what we will be talking about. First off, you have the Find button. The Find button is very useful when you're searching for some data, but you don't really remember anything about it, maybe just half of a word. So let's say you're searching for something with the VA, and you have two options. It's either Find All or Find Next. Find Next is predefined on the point where your cell is marked at the moment. So let's say your cell is marked in the middle of the file, so it won't be looking in the top part of the file, it will be looking from this point. Or if you have already clicked Find, then it will keep on searching below the file. If you click Find All, it will just go over the entire file, list the number, the possibilities for you, so that you can choose from the entire workbook. You also can search by the Options button. When you use the Options button, you have many more options. First off, you have the location, which is within which sheet, or if it's within this sheet, or the entire workbook. If you use the entire workbook, the number of sheets don't matter. It will look for everything in the entire file. But keep close notice to this, because you might actually get a bit lost if you search if you have a huge file and end up in like the 5th of 20 tabs, then this could be a bit too much. So basically try to work with the sheet rather than the workbook. Okay, search. You can search by rows or by columns. There's basically no difference. It just it just searches the data by the columns, and it finds them in a bit different way. So just basically use it and see what it does. Okay. Next off, you have the look in button. You have also the formulas, values, and comments. This is basically if you're searching for something in this Excel file and you're not sure if this might be contained in a formula, it might be a value, or it might be written in a comment. So this will allow you to shortlist your search. So you might also want to change the format of the thing you're actually searching at the moment. So when we assume a format, let's say like this one, and you use the Find All, it won't find anything, because basically you told the Excel file that you're looking for the VA, but that it is formatted like this. So let's go back maybe to the Calibri, and it won't find anything again. That's because you use the different format. But now, oh yeah, final. Yeah, because we changed the format in the beginning. Let's now choose the Calibri Lite. Yeah. Oh yes, of course, we set a formatted. Now it will be. Okay, so to undo this, we have to unchoose the clear find format, and now choose the Find Next. Now it will find anything you want. So basically, you Usually you don't want to use the format button because this will shorten the range of the things you are looking for. But if you know that the thing you are looking for, the data you are looking for is in a specific format, this might help you a lot to find the data very fast and very effectively. Yeah, so that's basically it. Also, you have these two buttons, which are the match case and match entire cell content. So the match entire cell content means that when you type in something, so find what, it would be looking only for data that is exactly like this and are contained in one cell. So basically, because I checked this, there is no VA in the entire cell. But if I uncheck it, it will be looking for a partial reference. So even if the VA is in the middle of the word, it will find it. Next off, we have the find and replace. So we will go over to replace. And basically the find part of the replace tab works exactly the same. And what it does is actually looks for a word and replaces it for something else. So let's do an example. We have the VAFFE word, VAFFE, and we want to replace it with, let's say, EFFAV. Okay. So it will search for it in this sheet and search by rows and look in the formulas if it finds it. You also have the find all first off, and you have extra buttons here, of course. So first you search for them, and you now see a list of all the words. This is very useful if in your company, let's say, somebody's position changes and you have to replace his position in all of the workbooks you have this person in, or maybe name of a product changes, but you don't want to lose all the data and you don't want to redo it again. So this is a very fast and very useful way to do this really efficiently. So we're looking for the VAFFE and replacing it with the EFFAV. So we can see it over here, and we either choose replace, and it will replace one after another. You also see the cells in which this data is logged in. Either you can use the replace all button, which will instantly replace all the values which are the VAFFE. So let's use the replace all button, and Excel informs you that it made 15 replacements. Click OK, and you can see in here that right now we have the acronym of VAFFE. Okay, great. That's basically it for the find and replace. Always remember that if you want to do a quick search, use the Ctrl F and just type in and click find next or find all, depending on if you're looking for a lot of data or just one point. The Ctrl F actually works for most of the programs, definitely for all of the Microsoft Excel, most of internet browsers, so this is very useful shortcut if you're looking for some data or you're looking for some words in let's say the browser. This will work for you perfectly. The sort and filter button is obviously explained before, so I won't go over it. Next up you have the auto sum. That's exactly what it does. Yeah, you just mark the area and click the auto sum and it will instantly do a sum below of the file. You have different options for the auto sum. You can use the average, you can use the max, you can use the min version of the button. You can always go over here and just check it out in the workbook itself, because this data is always shown. Also in here you have the in the auto sum you also have the more functions button, but this is basically just a close reference to the formulas insert function, and this is basically the same. So there's there's no sense just going in here. Okay, you also have the fill-in button and the clear button. Well, this is more advanced, so this will be covered by the advanced videos. So if you're interested, go to the advanced videos for more information. So next off, we'll be talking about printing. The settings for printing aren't really that sophisticated, but still you need to know some tricks to allow your work to look much better on paper. I've seen many in my career. I've seen many mistakes of people outprinting and then maybe gluing some pieces of paper together, which is a tragic mistake. But okay, let's go over printing step by step. First off, you want to print out this whole area. So how would you know if this area actually fits your piece of paper? If it wouldn't be too big, if it wouldn't be too small, if the letters or anything else wouldn't be really visible for naked eye. So let's go back to, I believe, lesson 2 or 3, where I told you about the different page layouts. So you have the normal page layout that we've been working on all this time. Second off, you have the special page layout and the page break preview. So both of these are actually mostly useful for showing how printed pages will look like. In this view, you actually see a single page print. So this is the data that will be printed per a single page. So you can see it being, well, not so well organized because there's a lot of space here that is not used. And second off, you have the page break preview. This page, this view actually is represented by the amount of pieces of paper you need to print out a single piece of information. The lines you see over here represent each piece of paper. So this area here will be one piece of paper, this area here will be the second one, etc. I will show you later on how to edit this, but first off, let's go to the print view. So you click the file, and when you're in the file menu, you have the print. Click this button and you're in the basic printing output page. So I have one printer here that I'm using, the Canon Inkjet i990. I don't really have this printer, I just installed this for the purpose of this training. Basically, what we see here, well, first off and most importantly, you see the page preview. The page preview tells you how will the piece of paper look like when it's printed out. You can see it being, well, not so well organized because most of the space on the page is wasted. The data isn't really visible. It could be managed much better. So over here you see the numbering of the pages, so you know that this is page 1 of 34 and there will be 34 pieces of paper printed out with the entire worksheet. Next off, you have these two buttons over here. First off is the zoom to page, and second off is the show margins. So first off, let's maybe click this button and see that you can see those margins, and depending on the printer you actually have, those margins can be or can't be moved. Because some printers have a border to which they will print out information and the information will be lost after this border. So there is a way to overcome this and to lie to the printer that the information actually ends somewhere else than it is supposed to be, so you could print on the entire page, but probably it wouldn't really look good because the printer would create a well, the edges would just simply look nasty because of the paper cracking a bit to the bottom or to the top, depending on how your printer is configured or what type of equipment it is actually made of. If it is a ink printer, or if it is a laser printer, etc. So obviously, as you can see, you can move those margins over here. But to explain a few words first off, as I said, different printers equals different margins. That's first off. Second off, you have to remember that sometimes you might want to input some titles or stuff like that into the header or the footer of the page. So basically the top of each page is called the header and bottom of each page is called the footer. There is a way to input some information in those areas. There's also a way to destroy those areas and cancel them. As I said, I will tell you this a bit later. So this is the basic view. You can also go to advanced options in the printer where you have the printer options, because not always the data, the changes you make in Excel work on your printer, because some printers will override the changes you do in Excel and simply ignore them. So sometimes you will have to go to printer properties like this one. This is just an example, so your printer page will probably look very different than this, but usually you have a few tabs in here like the main, page setup, profiles, or anything else. Usually you can change the color here, the print quality, so we can see that I have the color intensity here, it's auto or manual, the color quality, which would be standard, custom, fast, or high. I don't know why the high is blank, because this is, well, a printer I don't really have. So usually you also have the page setup, which allows you to change the view of the page. It's either a portrait or a landscape. But you have to remember that when you do changes here, they don't always show over here. So I will do this, click OK, and this time this applied for our Excel sheet, but it doesn't always work like this. Sometimes when you do some changes over here, they won't cooperate with Excel really well. So just keep in mind that this sometimes can be really problematic for you, and you don't really want to do this. If you can edit in Excel, then use it, because it is much more convenient. And basically, if you're using few different printers in your office, then you will always know how to configure the changes here in Excel, but you won't always know how to configure a printer that could be more advanced or even be configured in a different language, which you might just not know. So going over the settings one by one, you see over here you have the print active sheets, numbers of pages, print one-sided, collated, portrait orientation, letter, custom margins, and custom scalings. This is all, everything I read right now is simply first option that is chosen for us right now. But first off, maybe let's see this one. Let's see what kind of options we have. So what we can do is print the active sheet. And what we mean by the active sheet, let's go back. The active sheet is always the one that you've been in, and where you have left your cell marker. So basically, if you were at the data sheet and you were viewing it before, this is the marked sheet for you. Excel would ignore this sheet and go over to this one. So this is your marked sheet. So going back to the print settings, next off you have the print the entire workbook, and this would actually, if we had anything in other workbooks, or we had a few workbooks, few sheets in the workbook which had any data in them, any data at all, it doesn't matter what kind of, if you even input a color in one cell, this means for Excel that it is supposed to print it because you did a change in one of the sides. So please remember that this can be really troublesome for you, because if you forget that you left something like this, you could end up printing even a few hundred blank pages and then this one colored cell somewhere by accident. So you should always check the number of pages over here, and this should be pretty automatic for you. Before you go and out and print, check this, because, well, you don't really want extra forests being cut down just to print out some empty pages, right?